Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing great here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Uh, how's everybody doing for those who tune in on TikTok, for those who tune in on Facebook, and for those who tune in on YouTube, Restream? How's everybody doing tonight? Tonight, I'm going live just off my cell phone, uh, just to see who shows up. For some reason, not that many people have been showing up on my live feeds, so I'm doing a live tonight here off my Facebook. How you doing beyond the box? I hope you're doing great. I sent cousin Jesse let her know I was going to go live through YouTube, but I don't know if he got my message or not, and if he did, I can respond to him, not through here. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing great. So I'm doing good, sister. I just decided to go early tonight. Uh, decided to go early tonight. How you doing, Summer of Slide? How you doing, Neva's Angel? How you doing, Valkyrie Meadows? Yes, Hellhounds tonight. Do have my merchandise. Do got a shirt that I got on. I'm just trying to do this live here off my cell phone tonight. I'm hooked up. Yeah. Oops. Uh, I dropped the off. Trying to do it off my cell phone tonight, just for the algorithm to see who shows up. Send me a link. Send me a. Did you want to join cousin Jesse? And I'll add you. I still need to share with my other groups, but I can't share from here since I'm doing live off my phone. So I'm just gonna go with this. Send me a link that you want to join, cousin Jesse, and I'll add you. Doing something. There we go again. Trying to do something different than what we've been doing. No, we've been talking about this for a while now. Uh, about doing lives like this for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, doing off my cell phone. So send me a request that you want to join this live through YouTube, cousin. Well, if you don't know how, then I can help you, cuz, because I can't do it from here. I mean, let me see what I can do from here from my end. Like I said, I'm doing it off my phone. Let me see what I could do okay. You would have to send me a request that you want to join, cousin. I left it open. You know, I couldn't get a hold of you, so I left it open. Just wanted to start the live at 10 o'clock. But you're more than welcome to join. Yeah, tonight's topic is Hellhounds, brothers and sisters, here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I do got my Hellhound shirt on tonight. Three, the ones that guard the gates of Hades. I got this shirt on tonight for the show. And of course, as always, we do have stories dealing with hellhounds that which I've encountered. I've encountered them. Let me see, twice within my lifetime, and other beings that I believe could be affiliated with hellhounds, which would be uh, in some form of way like soul collectors. You know, that have red eyes. You know that I've witnessed. Think I can only have one guest here tonight. I'm trying to get cousin Jesse to send me a that he wants to join the live, a request, so I can add him. If you can figure it out, it's got to be done off your cell phone, cousin. That's the only way it'll work through your cell phone. Trying to go this route for tonight, just to for the algorithm. I am doing great tonight. I seen somebody send me a message about other people, so they're going through some things. Honestly, I really don't care what, especially if people come up against me in a negative way. Uh, I don't care what they're going through. I really don't care. I don't even want to hear anything about them. I already got enough of my own what I'm going through, so I really don't want to hear what they're going through, especially if they've come up against me in a negative way for a long time. I really don't need to hear nothing from them. I really don't care uh, what they're going through. Let me try to send you a link for this. See if you can do something with it. Uh, let me copy it. Let me copy it and try to send it to you. I'm just going with the flow of things, just for tonight, and if not, we'll just go back to doing it on restream. I just something I want to do, try out tonight, and not for an hour. Try it out for an hour like this, and now I can get you in at 11 o'clock, primo. Let me just you gotta let me know when 11 o'clock hits. We can go live through restream if you want to. Or if you can get in here, I can stop at 10:30. At least go for about 30 minutes here with this and redo it. There you go. There we go.
Hey,
Woohoo,
hey,
we in
hey.
business.
I made it.
We in business.
I made it.
We figured it out, cousin.
Yes, sir. Let
I got
me
the cherubim shirt on.
set up
What do you
this
mean? I mean the
Cerberus.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna try a different but you know what? Let's start this week with a bang. I'll put it turn off tonight. Put
Hold
on
up.
tonight.
Hmm.
Somebody says your voice isn't matching your lips moving.
There we go. Primo. Pass.
Yeah, I have been having technical difficulties over here with the internet, so it could be that. I'm not sure.
Shh. Calm down.
Somebody saying the live is freezing up a little bit.
I don't see any problems, but it's probably the stream. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Duendita. Hello, Beyond the Box. Who am I missing? Hi, Mike's World. Lunar Eclipse. Hi.
Moderators, you already know what to do. Anybody comes in here trying to cause any kind of problems, you already know what to do. I don't have to tell you. They come in here disrespectful. Just put them out. They don't need to be here if they're coming in here disrespectful. We don't want to hear what they're going through. We don't want to hear anything about them. There we go. Can you see
And
the shirt,
so
primo?
it begins.
¿Me mira bien, no?
Nice shirt, man.
Yeah.
Look at what I got.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's what I'm glad you got that shirt on. It's kind of like I got the Hellhounds shirt on, and you got agents. They're like reapers. I'm gonna put this out here.
I've been
My my merch.
I've been messed up for a couple of days, man. But last night after we prayed for those people, my my arm started feeling numb, and then woke up this morning, man. I woke up with real bad vertigo, man. I've been basically laying down all day, man. I had to like hold on to the walls to be able to walk over here. Everything's spinning, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening. The weather, but a lot of things happening. I believe spiritual warfare is very real. You see what I went through, but I'm healing already. Uh, it's just we have to be ready at all times. I've been getting a lot of rest actually while while I've been hurting. Been getting a lot of rest. Tie binding rebuking. My dreams have been trying to get infiltrated spiritually. Nothing dealing with anything that anybody's trying to do anything against me. Just the way it is. Spiritual warfare. Uh, it happens. Could happen while you're awake. Could happen while you're asleep. You just have to be ready to be able to fight spiritually. But tonight's topic is hellhounds. How you doing, Mike's World? Thank you, Sister Madeline. I know I haven't been feeling well for about 3 weeks, but here I am. I haven't gotten back on track like I want to physically. I'm going to take another break off from doing any workouts, weights. I'll wait another week at least to try to get back on track on that. But besides that, I feel pretty good. Next week I got some appointments, so it might be 2 week vacation from not working out. I'm not till, and then my hands still got to heal. So here we are on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters live through our cell phones. Me and cousin Jesse here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, and tonight's topic is Hellhounds. So how you been, cousin? Before we get the show going,
Well, like I said, it's been I feel like I've drank like 4 or 5 cases of beer, man. That dizzy. When I'm walking, dude, I guess all that drinking I did when I was younger, it helped. Cause I can at least walk. I took some medication for it, man. It should be kicking in here in a little bit. Hello, Evie.
how you doing? How you doing, Sister Ivy? Yeah, man, I got so many stories. Show them your shirt, cousin. To the viewers, different agents. You could say when we talk about different kind of green reapers. You could think something like that. That they come in many forms that look different. You got one that's got red, one that's all black. You got one that's white. Just different kinds of reapers that come, I guess, to collect souls. Hellhounds. What do you know about hellhounds, Primo?
Well, the only thing I know about hellhounds, man, is what I read in Greek mythology about Cerberus, hellhound that guards the gates of hell.
This one
Yeah,
with
kind
the
of like
three
that.
heads.
Yeah, and the one that I saw back in 1982 that made me climb a tree and my buzz went
But
away,
what,
man.
what do you know about was it Cerebus?
Well, I know that he guards the gates of hell to keep the spirits in and the living out. I know that it has magical powers. That's about all I know about it, man.
So it keeps from people coming into Hades, or just keeps is guarding the souls that are being trapped in Hades.
It's making sure that the souls don't get out, but it's making sure that the living don't come in.
I see. But don't it have permission to go collect souls also?
As far as
Since it,
I know, the it was chained at the gates of hell, and the only one that ever let it loose was Perseus. But that goes back to Greek mythology.
we got a question here. It says, "Can neighbors who do brujeria draw those beings to the area?
Of course, they can. They do
Through
a
witchcraft and
marking.
necromancy, they can summon
They can do a
any
marking.
agents from hell, or through portals. They can summon anything to come up against anybody. Depends what demon, right, or whatever the summon to come to do their deeds.
Lord, I tie, bind, and rebuke any witchcraft, nor can see any agents of the evil that are trying to talk to me right now. Jesus Christ's name I pray, amen. Ooh, that was loud, man. Ooh, okay.
I got a question to anybody else, because the only one I see saying that our lips are not matching is Cynthia. Does anybody see that we're off what we're saying? Is she saying that? Oh,
Something was trying to talk to me, Madeline, and it was really, really loud, ringing in my ear. It was deafening. I just tied, bonded, and rebuked it, and it went away.
I've
Right
been
now,
getting
it's
a lot
good.
of that. It's like a low vibration. How should I say? Low vibration sounds that hurt your ears. That's when you
Yeah.
know something's around you spiritually, trying to attack your spiritual senses. That's what
Well,
they do.
yeah, they were telling me. They told me that when it's in the right ear, it's your higher forms up or angels or God trying to talk to you. Or when it's in this, it's not good. When it's in your left ear, that's not that's the dark side, man. And right now it was real loud right here, man. It was like I couldn't even hear you talk. It was so loud. Okay, Cynthia
So
says
what's
it's
it?
good now.
What is what how did you see, cousin?
It
That
was
when you
a,
you said you were younger.
it was here in Fort Worth, actually, cousin. I was walking home. I was all messed up, man. I had been doing all kinds of stuff, man. And
So, I
I
mean, how old were you when this happened?
was about 13. I was 13. I was coming home. It was like 3 in the morning, and I heard something running, and I looked, and I saw a big old dog with red eyes coming at me, man. And I took off running, and I started losing ground, man. It was gaining on me, man. So I saw a big old tree, and as messed up as I was, man, I climbed up, and it just sat there looking at me, man, with the red eyes. And it treated me, man. It left around. Well, I got home at 7, so I was like an hour from where I was in the tree. So about
So
6 in the
if
morning.
your senses were not working properly, you were drunk, so you wasn't able to sense anything like out of the ordinary.
No, not till I heard something running. You could hear like nails scraping on the concrete, and I looked, and it was running full blast, man. It was like 3 blocks down the street behind me, but I could see it moving fast. So I started running, and like I said, I started losing ground. So the first thing I did was climb a tree, and I got up high enough to where if it jumped up, it couldn't get me. So it just sat there and watched me as I was in the tree. But when the sun started to come up, it left. I suppose it can beyond the box. If you pay for the service, you can basically share it anywhere. That's what I think.
What'd you say?
She's asking if a restream can cut into another platform.
Oh yeah, restream. I was doing the YouTube up on restream, but tonight I decided to do it off of here, off
YouTube.
YouTube itself.
So yeah, because like I said,
Uh,
we were sitting in that tree. Hey, hasta the high that I had went away, man. When I was sitting there watching that dog just sit and stare at me with the red eyes. The big old dog too, man. It was a little bit bigger than a Rottweiler.
yeah, I've had the encounters with a hellhound. When I was, I'm trying to think how old I was. 15 years old. But there was already a lot of things happening. But I'll go to the trying to see if I can get a little bit more viewers. So how did this hellhound look like to you, cousin?
It was a
Before
big
I
black.
share anything.
It was a big black dog, man. Like I said, it was bigger than a Rottweiler, and it just sat there, man. It was like jet black, man, like black, and you could see the red eyes, and it was just staring up at me like that, man. While I was sitting there, and I was in the tree. I didn't, like I said, I didn't even try to get down hasta lo marihuano y todo se me quitó.
I've heard that if people have more than three encounters, like on the third encounter with the hellhound, that they die. Is that true?
I don't know anything about that because I've only seen it once, cousin. Only seen it once. And you
And
know,
these hellhounds, they surface up. They normally surface up, brothers and sisters, when it's a matter of life or death. That's when they surface up when they're out to claim a soul. That's when people normally see hellhounds. Some hellhounds are being or spotted at cemeteries, uh, or when somebody is fixing to lose their life, or it's a situation of a matter of life or death. They surface up, but not just hellhounds. But we'll get that to later on. Here's a question for you, cousin,
Well,
Mr.
I don't
Madden.
know. I don't know, Madden, if they're a warning or if they cause death. I know that I probably almost when I saw it, I had taken some stuff that I shouldn't have taken, and maybe I was about to die, and that chase got it through my system. 'Cause I had done a lot of stuff that night. I had mixed a lot of stuff together.
Honestly, a hellhound normally shows up. Like I said, it's a matter of life or death when somebody's fixing to die or they've already died. They show up as soul collectors. You know, they go to the location where the body is, uh, and other things besides a hound are spotted. If you think about hellhounds, you know, we can go and talk about other things, but hellhounds are spotted when something tragic is going to happen. I believe, kind of like you just got to remember the red eyes. You know, there's other beings that have been spotted where there's been a lot of death. Uh, One of the beings besides a hellhound would be the Mothman. It's got the red eyes that was spotted. What was the name of the location where the bridge collapsed, cousin? And all those people died.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, cousin.
Yeah, you got that kind of being. Then you got the Hat Man with the red eyes that show up. Reapers that have red eyes that show up, and believe it or not, Dogman and Sasquatches that show up. They have red eyes when something bad is going to happen or somebody is dying. To me, I believe they're like soul collectors, uh, and they show up.
There's a
But
question for you.
we can talk about that later on.
There's a question for you, cousin. Do you think they may also act as guardians?
No, I mean they're just there for one thing, for the soul. They When you see something like that, it's because something tragic has happened, or something tragic is fixing to happen, or you know something bad has happened. It's got to be something tragic when they surface up, or you know when somebody asked earlier if they can be summoned through witchcraft or necromancy. That's part of the spiritual warfare, but I believe they get summoned. There's other things that I've witnessed that have appeared because somebody's fighting for their soul. And I said I got stories, and the thing of all these beings that they all have in common, in spite that they look different, is the red eyes. The red eyes that are looking at you, whether it's a hellhound and the other beings that I just mentioned, is the red eyes that are looking at you. And if you're not drunk and your senses are not blocked, you're gonna be able to see the energy, feel the energy of this unclean, or should I say, hellhound or whatever it is, because your senses are going to get triggered by it.
Yeah, that night, man, my cigarette, I wasn't triggered. I heard it, but like I said, I was really, really messed up, man. I'm glad I got that little exercise because it sped everything through my system. But yeah, that was
But I had seen a lot of things, but I'm going to talk about the hellhound. The When I encountered it when I was 15 years old, it was a day that I lost my mother. You know, uh, that evening, well, that after evening, nighttime, she was going to the drive-in. They had left. I remember this white van showed up at our house. They were dropping body bags on the ground, like if I guess we're supposed to be dead or something. And I open and I say, "Hey, what are y'all doing here?" So they put the body bags inside the back of the coroner's van and they took off. I didn't know what was going on. Uh, so then a policeman showed up and he's talking about his the parents of the house. Is my mother there and all this stuff, And I said no. So they took off and we're trying to figure out what's going on. Uh, but one of the things that happened that evening was the truck showed up at the house, and I seen
Be back.
my my dad. I guess he brought the purse and dropped it in the room, and then he got it back in the vehicle and took off. That's when everything else happened. So as I were looking for her, I got on my bike, and where I come from in the Rio Grande Valley is a small town called Raymondville, Texas, and there's nothing but agriculture. Well, at that time, there was nothing but agriculture. A lot of dirt roads uh, that go around the town. So I got on my 10 speed, and then I went around on the dirt roads, around the town. I had prayed to the Heavenly Father to guide me spiritually, to guide me spiritually, to take me to where she was at, because we are all spiritually connected, especially when it's your bloodline, your family, we are spiritually connected. So I prayed to the Heavenly Father in true faith to guide me. I was going to follow my spirit to wherever He took me, and in the Rio Grande Valley, it's pitch dark down those dirt roads. That the only thing that you see white is the the dirt road itself. That's white, but everything else around you is pitch black, especially out there in the country, right? So I'm going on my 10-speed bike, following my spiritual senses, praying, riding my 10 speed on this. The dirt road is literally like rocks, caliche, we call it in Spanish, which are rocks, you know, pretty hard rocks, and I'm just going with my 10 speed, just with my faith. And I finally hit a highway, uh, a back road, but it's still out in the country. I'm like a mile away out of town. And so I start going on my bike. My spirit tells me to take a right because I'm spiritually connected to the Heavenly Father. So I take the right, and I'm going down the the road, and I get to where a location where there's a little bridge, and there's like a light pole, right? So the town is to my right. It's like probably like a mile from that point to the town. It gets closer to town, so it's probably like half a mile to town. So I get off my bike, and I'm still praying, and I start walking on this bridge that's there. I had never really been out there at nighttime, but it was something serious. I feel spiritually, so I was out there, trying to locate my mother. So when I start walking across this bridge, brothers and sisters, uh, I start hearing like a moaning sound of some sort. So as I'm hearing the moaning sound, I stop at the other side of the bridge. It's a little bridge, by the way, probably like 15, 20 feet long. Uh, so I stop there and I'm looking and I'm sensing because there's a light pole. I'm seeing another dirt road beside this canal because there's water underneath. And I see the dirt road by the canal, and I'm looking, right. I'm looking and I'm sensing, and I keep on hearing somebody moaning like they're in pain, right? So, and this is what's weird about it because like I said, there's other entities that show up. So I'm going to get to it right now. As I stop on the dirt road, I mean on the road, on the pavement, the highway, I look at the dirt road and there's a pole, and there's a barbed wire fence where there's a field. So I'm looking that way as I'm hearing the moaning coming from that vicinity by the dirt road. So as I take a step on the dirt road to start walking that ways because I put my 10 speed on the stand. Uh, I hear, well, I didn't hear. I was hearing the moanings. What happened is I seen something rise from the ground up, and it's standing by the pole and it's looking at me. What I seen rise, brothers and sisters, was what people call the Hat Man. He was very tall, uh, had the red eyes looking at me, and I'm looking at it. We're locked in on each other. So I step back, get by my bike, and I'm looking at it, and it's looking at me. And next thing you know, uh, I'm gonna describe the height because it was pretty tall. It was way taller than me. I would say between 7 to 8 foot tall. That's how tall it was. Uh, had a hat and everything. One of those top hats. He had red eyes looking at me, and I could still hear the moaning. And I wanted to go to where the moaning was coming from. So as I was going to take a step to keep on going that way, the hat man started coming at me. He wasn't running at me. He was gliding in the air, coming at me. You know, from where the hat man was, and I was standing on the street. That's a good 15 to 20 feet away from each other. 20 feet away from each other. So it's very close. So I seen it gliding in the air, floating, coming at me. So I got on my bike. I kicked the stand up and I start riding the bike. I'm riding the bike down this other road that's got a lot of potholes in it. And I'm trying to avoid the potholes. And I'm looking, and the hat man is still gliding in the air after me. So it's flying in the air after me, and I'm riding a bike, and I'm able to get to town, and I cross the irrigation system. There's an irrigation system that runs underneath our town, around our town, because of the agriculture. So there's running water through those canals. Well, when I crossed the bridge into back into the city, I turned around, and what was behind me was not the Hadman anymore. What was behind me was a pitch black dog with red eyes, and his tail was sticking straight up in the air, like straight up in the air, pointing up in the air. And he was looking at me, and I was looking at it, and we're literally just the length of the canal, which is I'm on this side of the street, and we're I would say 5 feet away from each other, and we're looking at each other. So I'm still praying the Our Father, and he's looking at me. And next thing you know, it's like it just turns around and it jumps distances of like 15, 20 feet,
Oh
leaps.
wow,
It's
wow.
sleeping. It's not running like a dog. It's sleeping like 15, 20 feet at a time. And it moves very fast that way that that it made it. But when I was praying, I wasn't afraid of it, right? So it didn't have, I guess, a spiritual opening to attack me. So when it took off and I'm seeing it leaving, uh, I drove back to the city, going pretty fast, back to my home. So when I get to my house, my aunt is already outside. My aunt Sylvia, she's got a at that time they had the blue truck. Remember the blue truck they used to have, the Chevy? I believe it was a Chevy.
Yeah, still have it.
They were parked. They were parked outside my home, and my aunt is scared inside the vehicle, and she's saying to go get the children to get them and put them on the truck. And she was scared. I didn't know why she was scared. So when I get into my house towards the house, I tell my little sister. She was like 3 years old. She tells me, "Pick me up. Don't let me touch the ground." That's what she tells me. That's what my little sister tells me. So I don't know what's going on. I get everybody in the vehicle and we take off to my aunt's house. So when we get to my aunt's house, uh, I'm trying to figure out why she's scared. She said that when she pulled up to the house, that she seen a monkey, like what seemed to be a monkey, on the tree with red eyes. So that night there was three figures that were seen with had red eyes. Something that looked like a monkey on the red eyes on the tree, the Hat Man that had red eyes, and the Hellhound that had red eyes. And I believe what they all had in common that they show up when something bad happens, right? And out of my experience, and this is a real life experience that I'm talking about. This is the day that I lost my mother through domestic violence. This is the day I lost my mother that I witnessed three different beings. And there was another thing that happened from that I had forgotten. You know, sometimes when there's you get scared or there's fear in the air, right? I was only 15. That you forget things. Well, there was another thing that happened at the time when the moaning was happening, and the headman was looking at me, and I got on my bike. To the far right is where the Elisendos live, primo. They're white. There was a riot ranch out there. It's a white ranch where they lived. Well, when all that was happening, the lights of the ranch of their ranch home was flickering on and off, on and off, on and off constantly, and you could hear
Mhm.
people laughing when all this was happening. So I believe there was also, you know, demonic activity happening around, which the lights of the house were just flickering on and off, on and off, on and off, and they were laughing. You hear a lot of laughter coming from that vicinity. So, when people ask the question, is it possible that somebody could have summoned something? It's possible. But when it's a thing of that somebody's going to lose a life, there's this things that do show up. Depends on to what the severity of the incident is. There's times where people die a natural death in hospitals or in the homes, and there's angelic beings that show up to come and guide them the proper direction. What happened to my mother was severe, in which other things showed up because of the severity of the matter. So yes, there's many things that can show up, not just at the time of the incident, they could show before, in which you can have all kinds of activity happening in this manner before something even happens, as like Sister Madeline said, as a warning. Like if you're hearing somebody run on top of your roof, banging on the walls, hearing disembodied voices, that something's telling you something's up in the air and you better take it seriously. What does that mean? That you better go into prayer, call out the Heavenly Father for assistance, because if you're hearing all those things and you're seeing things with red eyes looking at you, the you're in a situation that is very severe. And I hope I'm making sense, and I hope that the audience is interacting of the things that I'm talking about right now. Of the things that I'm talking about right now. If anybody's got any questions on what I'm talking about, let's stick to topic, of what I'm speaking about. And if anybody that has something to say on the chat, when I do go live on Restream, you're more than welcome to join as a guest, so you can share your stories with the rest of the viewers. But for tonight, we're doing this here on Facebook. It's been a while. For those that hasn't gotten any notifications of when we go live. The reason you haven't maybe have not gotten any notifications is because we're being doing lives off of Restream, because we have been getting many trolls. So we'll be doing lives on Restream and sharing it to YouTube and other platforms. But tonight we're doing it here on YouTube. So yes, I hope I answered some people's questions here tonight. Sister Valkyrie, no, not shapeshifters. This or agents, demonic agents,
Soul Reaper,
uh,
Soul.
soul reapers, soul collectors, whatever you want to call them. The only time they show up if they have some kind of authority, because normally is people are being bonded, right? If the people are being bonded, they show up because they have to have some kind of jurisdiction in order for them to show up. They just can't show up to anybody's place, especially if the person is on the right path. If or they're not living in sin, they have to have some kind of authority to show up in this manner. What do you think, Primo?
I think you're right,
Uh,
Primo. I mean, I'm thinking that when I saw it, man, I was probably gonna die that night if I hadn't did that little run that I did. Uh, I put too much stuff in my system. I was living wrong, man. That night we had gotten into like a big old brawl at the park with another gang, and yeah, man, I hurt some people and got busted up. So yeah, I might not have lived that night if that hellhound hadn't chased me up a tree.
but I just want to say, make something clear right now, that if the things that happened to mother were led through witchcraft or necromancy, there's one thing about when an event happens, brothers and sisters, that maybe at the time, yeah, I might have lost my mother at the time, but when you pray for somebody and you continue to pray, that the soul becomes a fragmented soul, right? But what normally happens, brothers and sisters, is that fragmented soul, after we pray and show our respects and honor to our loved ones that we lost, that soul can be saved. So what happens if the soul can be saved? That means that the karma that was dealt that day of everything that happened could go back to the senders or anybody that might have been part of that they can go back to them, in which I believe that it already has, and things have happened, but it's not for me to rejoice over anything like that. It's just the way the Heavenly Father takes care of certain situations. It's beyond my control. Yes, a life was lost at a very, I guess you could say, I'm not going to say a young age. All I'll say is, well,
She
young.
had she had a lot of a lot of years left because
Yeah. So, that's something that I had to go through. But I don't want to get too much of a topic, you know, but I'm just trying to tell you that I witnessed, and I'm going to tell you some of the events that happened before even that happened, of this. I'm going to let cousin Jesse say something or talk about something in this nature, and then I'm going to tell you another event that happened before I lost my mother. A certain event that happened that I knew something wasn't right, and that something very bad was going to happen. But what do you think about that, cousin?
I think, man, that what happened, man, was very, very. Oh, I can't even say the word, man. But it should not have happened like that, man. When I found out about it, I was still living over here in Fort Worth, man, and we didn't find out about it till like somebody called my dad and let him know what had happened. Uh, the hell?
Because I have a lot of other things to share, man. I'm trying to try, trying to stay the best to the topic, man. But when I say that I've been fighting spiritually all my life, that's the 100% truth. That's what it's been like that for me all my life. Is fighting spiritually against these unseen forces that are around us. It's been a constant battle for me. Y'all seen what happened to my hand, but it's healing now. Uh, when you experience something like that, it changed. I guess when you experience it too many times, right? I'm talking about, because there's a lot of factors, right? Before something like that surfaces up, there's a lot of things that happen, and it's dealing with what path are you living, right? Are you living a righteous path, Heavenly Father? Are you living in sin, right? If, like cousin Jesse, we talked about, what happened to him, that he surfaced up, that he was on something. Well, the path that he was on, he was putting himself in danger. That could have, if anything would, if you would, I'm thinking if you wouldn't have ran, that maybe that Hellhound would have gotten a hold of him. The running uh, keeps the body going, in which he might have sweated out whatever was in his system, in which it helped him from something seriously happening to him.
Yeah, that was a very busy night, if I remember correctly, man. The We went, we had our rumble, we came back, we celebrated a little bit too much. And like I said, I was only 13 years old, man. It was like 3 in the morning, and I was barely going home. That pretty much,
You were 13, Primo?
yep,
Oh, shoot.
yep. I was 13 years old. We went, we had the rumble, came back, we celebrated our victory, then ingested a bunch of stuff that I should not have ingested at that age. And like I said, man, I wasn't on a good path, man. But back then, I could actually climb trees. Can't climb trees no more. But I think that run and that tree climbing, whatever I had ingested, man, I sweated it out, and that's the only reason I'm still here.
Because just a rock climb a tree, the branch you're going to break way too much.
Man, the last time,
Oh, man.
getting off the topic, the last time I climbed a tree, I had drank 4 bottles of Cisco, and
Oh, man.
drank the 4 or 5 bottles of Cisco and smoked 4 or 5 cigarettes that I should not have smoked. And I started climbing a tree, and I got all the way up and slipped and fell all the way down. Man, I had scratches all on my arms. I tried to be tough and pour Cisco in there, and that was a mistake, man. I cried after
What are you
that.
talking about, Cisco? Like Cisco, the oil to cook? Or
No,
you Cisco the drink?
the drink, man,
Like a liquor drink?
the liquor drink.
I think at first, Cisco, I thought you were talking about, but like, man, why is cousin Jesse drinking Cisco? That's Cisco is lard. I was like, what the? What are you talking about Cisco? I
No,
mean,
no,
what are you
no,
trying to do, cousin?
no, and
You know
then
what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, yeah,
Cisco oil.
uh huh, and
I
that
thought you were talking about the lard. Cisco, the.
yeah, no,
I was
man.
trying to figure out what you're talking about.
And that wasn't even it, Primo. I fell out the tree. I put that stuff on there. It was burning. No matter how much water and soap I put on, it wouldn't stop burning. I had a '78 Ford LTD 4 door. I backed up, man, and hit the neighbor's fence. And when I pulled forward, dude, I was looking through the mirror. I would see sparks. Ya estaba oscureciendo. It was getting dark. I didn't know why I kept saying sparks in the road. Well, I got off the car and looked. Dude, I took out all his that dude fence with my car. I was dragging all his fence and posts. Uh, I unhooked it from my back bumper, man. I left it there in the middle of the street, man.
Yeah, I was confused. You're all sorry about that. There's a picture there, huh? It's got the mouth open. There's another one over here, and another one over here. Three out. There you go.
it's,
Pretty crazy picture. No,
it's stop, Cynthia. It's
I
stop.
like, dang, cuz.
Yeah, man. But getting back to the
Said
topic, man, the,
I was
the
like, you really were trying to take yourself out,
that
eating Cisco lard.
man, that night, dude, like I said, I took too many hits of acid, one right after the other, man. So yeah, I was not really in my right shape of mind.
All right, we were getting off a topic talking about Cisco oil,
No, and I wasn't even
uh,
talking about Cisco oil. I was
Cisco
talking about
lard.
Cisco the drink.
Yeah, I don't know, cousin. I know about the Cisco kid.
No, no, but that's Crisco, not Cisco.
Oh, oh, okay.
The
My
large
bad. I thought you were talking
Crisco.
about oh Cisco, oh Pancho, the Cisco kid.
The Cisco kitty was a friend of mine. But yeah, man, most people can't drink more than a quart or two of that, man. I drank 4 quarts that day, man. But anyway, getting back on the topic, man. Yeah, and then I
I
took
don't.
off
I've never
after.
drank Cisco before in my life, man. I do this. I let it at 7-Eleven.
I don't know if they even still sell that, man. It's been a while since I drank it.
What is that? Is it like a
It comes in the shape. The bottle is in the shape of a wine cooler, but it's a big quart bottle, and it'll say Cisco on there, SYCO Cisco, and malt liquor.
Malt liquor, okay. No, I can't do no malt liquor, man. That malt liquor upsets my stomach. The grapefruit river was the one I drank. Who's that? Neva's Angel.
Yeah, she would be the one drinking. But
So
yeah,
it was
man.
a pretty strong.
Yeah, man, that was a pretty strong drink back in the day, man. I used to drink all the malt liquors, man. I like the malt duck, the Colt 45, the Schlitz malt liquor bull. I drank all that, man.
Say knives. There was one called Red Man. We had a picture of a native on it.
Yeah, all that. I used to
Crazy
drink all
Horse.
that.
I think it was called
The
Crazy
Crazy
Horse,
Horse.
no?
That Crazy Horse, man. That comes from the Philippines.
And that was strong as hell.
Yeah. Uh, Come on, man. I used to drink MD 2020, Thunderbird, Wild Irish, all that.
Oh yeah. We're
Anything to
getting
do
off a
that.
topic now. Let's go back to the topic of the Hellhounds.
Anyway, like I
Nobody
said,
wants to know about the Cisco kid. I mean, the Cisco oil or Cisco drink.
man, we win. We had a rumble. We celebrated. I was walking home, 13-year-old man, walking home at 3 in the morning. My dad didn't really much care where I was as long as I wasn't bothering him. So, I was going home and I passed by one of the elementary schools and I turned right. I was headed home. And then I heard something running and I looked back and it was coming from the school. It was a big old black dog with red eyes, and I could see it was hauling ass, man. And I started running, and I kept looking back. The more I looked back, the closer it was getting. So I climbed up on the tree, man, and I even stood it, man.
I mean, I would have climbed up the tree too, man, if it was something like a dog, because you don't know if they got rabies or they're violent. So yeah, I would climb up a tree too if I could. I wish I did, and I had several incidents like that.
Tell you what, man, when I got to the middle of the tree that I was looking down, I was no longer high.
So so how did the hellhound? What happened when it did it walk away, disappear? I mean, what happened when
It
you were
was
up on the
sitting,
tree? I mean,
it was sitting there, man, and then when the sun started coming out, it looked back, and then when I looked to see what it was looking at, when I looked down again, it was gone.
it was gone.
Hmm. But I was way in the middle of that tree, man. I mean, that took, I took a running start, man. I hit it with one foot, then the other foot, and jumped up and grabbed the nearest branch and pulled myself up.
The hellhound, when he was close to me, he had a certain smell to it. The smell that I was smelling was sulfur.
Right
It had
next.
this strong smell of the hellhound. When we were 5 feet away from each other, looking at each other, it had a strong smell of sulfur, and it still was. It's like straight up, like it's hitting midnight. Like in the clock, it was just straight up in the air like that.
That's pure alpha dominance, man. When the tail is sticking straight up like that, that was an alpha male dog, man. Uh, Madeline, I couldn't smell anything when I was a teenager. I had I don't know what they said in English, but my family used to say que estaba mormado. My nose was always clogged up. Ever since I was a little kid, I never experienced a day that my nose was not clogged up. So I really didn't have a good sense of smell then.
Uh, I could probably go back to the street to go relive that moment. I mean, I can run like I used to or ride a bike like I used to, but the only place that I would want to go to, man, that of that moment would be to that house where the ranch was. where the lights were flickering on and off, because I feel if there was something, a source where if something was coming from somewhere, it could have been from the house. I don't know if those people have changed the way they live or they still even live there because it's been so many years. But I
Yeah.
felt that if there was some evil going on, it was coming from the vicinity of where their house was. The lights were flickering and the people were laughing. That was from the house of the Elizondos.
Well, he don't live there, man. He's incarcerated, man. He ain't never getting out. He came up for parole last year and they denied his parole. They gave him a 50 piece, man. Well, actually, they gave him 25, and he appealed and lost, and they gave him another 25, so they gave him 50.
So let's get back to Hell House before we lose more people. We were at 30 something, I think, right now. So
29.
some of the incidents that I witnessed, brother and sisters, one incident that I recall happened in Lubbock, Texas. Uh, Before the incident of the Hellhounds, I was telling you the certain other things that happened. Like Sister Madeline was saying, like something's warning you, you know, that something ain't right spiritually around you, you know. Certain events that was happening, some of the events that I was witnessing was this. I was seeing shadow figures. I was always seeing a shadow figure standing uh, by the pole of the entrance of the ranch. That's the first thing I witnessed was a shadow figure. That same shadow figure, when we were working in the fields, I could always see him behind me, the shadow behind me. And when I would turn around, it would disappear. It never failed that if I turned suddenly to the back, that I would see the shadow figure, like in the distance, looking. Sometimes I would notice it the way it was standing, that the shadow figure seemed to be the way my grandfather stand or he stood, right? So one evening, I've told my mother, I would tell my mother that there was this shadow figure that I was seeing, and she would tell me, "Oh, it's just your imagination." So one evening, I heard my mother talking to somebody. We were at the ranch in Lubbock, Texas, and she's talking to somebody by the window, and I'm hearing a voice of somebody talking to her, and I recognized the voice. The voice sounded a voice of my grandfather. The voice is telling my mother that she needs to be careful within the next couple of months, because if she's not careful, that something bad might happen. So we're working in the field, and at the cotton field. We were working the cotton, taking the weeds from the cotton rows. I go up to my mom and I ask her, "Mom, was that Grandpa you were talking to?" Which we know there's no way that could happen, right? Not unless he came to warn her about something. But she said, "You heard him too, or you see him?" I said, "Yeah, I've been seeing him ever since we've been come back to work. Been working here for the summer. I've been seeing him, his shadow figure, his silhouette." And asked her what did he want, and she told me the same thing that I heard, that for her to be careful with the next couple of months. So as I'm working, passed up my mom, because I was younger. So I was working, and next thing you know, I hear her screaming, and she's frozen like this, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I run to see what's going on, and she says, "Don't get near. There's a rattlesnake." That's what she's saying, a rattlesnake. But she's not moving. And when I look, I see this rattlesnake coiled up, and he had eyes,
Oh, wow.
red eyes looking at her. And as I seen it, I angled it, and I just swung my hoe on it, right on top of the head. Boom. And when I hit it, there was a puff of white smoke, and it smelled like sulfur. There was no rattlesnake around because it was, I believe, a demon, right, in the form of rattlesnake. Uh, and there was a puff of smoke that left that can manifest to look like anything into anything. Uh, at that time, I was still young, 15. I didn't know how to fight spiritually or anything like that, but I reacted to what I saw. And my mom's like, "Oh my god, what was that?" And she's all bonded, like something is scaring the hell out of her. She's got the something pretending to be her father talking to her in the middle of the night. And during the day, it's like she's seeing this rattlesnake with red eyes, coiled up to ready to strike, and she can't think straight because she's being distracted by the sunset forces were keeping her busy. So then one evening, they're still at the ranch. Uh, my dad and my mom were arguing. So, and I was like, "Can y'all stop arguing? You've been arguing all day." And I went outside to step outside to get some fresh air. And next thing what happens when there's anger, hatred, and people are arguing? What comes?
Negativity comes. Demons come.
Negativity, right? Like Wasamala, whatever you want to call it. So as I'm standing outside, I'm literally see the shadow move. Shadow that was set by the pole. It literally moved, dude. Like walked. And I'm seeing it walk, and they want to look like this because our house, the ranch, had pine trees around it, like a L form, right? In front of the house, on the side of the house. We what I witnessed was a lot of those shadow beings standing in front of the house and along the tree line to the right. They had literally surrounded us. The house was surrounded by these beings with red eyes, shadow like a bulto with red eyes. They were big, which
Big.
they looked like, I want to tell you what they looked like, as big as they were, what people call Bigfoots. That's what they looked like,
They
as
were
big as they
feeding.
were. They were humongous, but they were had red eyes. That's what stood out the most out of them. The red eyes with the silhouette as big as they were massive. So I run inside the house and locked the freaking door. And I said, I go run in, and I'm screaming, "Hey, they're here! Something evil is here!" Start locking all the doors. They start looking out the windows and start seeing the same thing I'm seeing, and they start closing in on us, coming towards the house. So they stop arguing, and everybody starts praying. That's the only thing we could do is start praying. Next thing you know, they get so close to the house that they're looking through the freaking windows.
Oh
This
wow.
ranch house had a lot of windows. There you could see the red eyes looking through the windows. We're praying and praying, and I go to a room where nobody sleeps because people they were afraid to sleep in the room because it's got so many windows. You could see all of them just in each window. There was one standing looking in because they were fighting. Right? They that wasn't just attacking. What bonds a strong man, which would be the strong man would be the head of the household, right? So my parents were arguing, so they were already bonded because arguing was just attracting them. So who are they going to come after? The children, right? Through the fear factor. So they came in numbers. If I were to say 20 to you, right, throwing that number out there, the number 20, to me personally, of what I saw, there would be too little because I believe there was a lot more than that. They were coming for the kill, I guess you could say, because of all the arguing, right? But luckily, we prayed and we prayed, and they left. But one thing that did happen that night, brothers and sisters, I'm just trying to tell you how this demonic forces that the red eyes has to do with demons and with hellhounds, the green reapers, how they all tie in together. Basically, that night we went to sleep. You know, I felt more the presence of the heavenly angels, but I was still freaked out. You know, I went to go put a piece of cardboard on the window just in case I wouldn't see the red eyes again looking in. Um, so I fall asleep. I fall asleep and I'm having a dream that I'm falling in a hole, a hole, a dark hole. I'm falling, and I'm praying within my dream that when I hit, that it's something soft. So I hit something soft and I bounce. So when I wake up, my face is being pressed. I'm thinking I've fallen off my bed, right? So when I open my eyes, I'm 15 years old, weigh like 135 pounds, somewhere around there, 132 because I was in track. When I wake up, I open my eyes. I see my brother below me on the bed asleep. He opens his Chang, my brother Robert. I think he was like 11 years old. He sees me up. I'm elevated up in the ceiling. My face is pressing the ceiling. So an unseen force has me elevated, pressing me against the ceiling. And my brother says, "Oh shit!" He stands up on the bed, jumps off the bed, and runs to the first room where my parents are. Next thing you know, that unseen force lets go of me, and I fall from the ceiling and hit the ground pretty hard. So those things with the red eyes, they did, you could say, invade the home. They were able to levitate me like that and slam me like that. I'm the one that seen them, and I'm the one that was praying. I was praying against them outside, and I was praying against them inside the home. You know, I was trying to bring peace to the family. So I feel that they were trying to take me out because I was, no matter how much anger, hatred, or violence was happening around me, I always kept the love foundation, and I believe those things were pissed off because I was praying. I prayed against them. They wanted to eliminate me, I guess. But if the Heavenly Father is protecting me, they're only limited to do certain things. But the way they entered the home is because the head of the household was being bonded. But I hope I'm not talking too much. But I'm just letting you know that I seen them. Once you cross that many in that nature, then you know that there is truly spiritual warfare here on earth. That you truly have to be careful, especially when you lose a loved one and you're seeing how this this unclean spirits work. Their work as a team, man. They come as an army up against you. So you really have to truly uh stop any spiritual opening you might have. Arguing, anger, it's not good. That's a spiritual opening. That's what they love. They love division because if they can divide you, then they can take you out individually. That's what they do. But let me stop for a little bit because I can keep on talking about this. It's just I'm just remembering how big they were, how they looked, and what's weird is from the section that they were at further up from the pine trees is a railroad track where the train will pass, and then like maybe 20 feet from there is the highway or the main highway. So I'm like, where did these things come from? I mean, you got to think about it. And here's the key word: whoever has been paying attention to spiritual encrypted encounters, what was there that could have been used as a portal? I said pine trees. So they could have possibly used the pine trees to surface up through the pine trees as portals, kind of like a Bigfoot would do, kind of like a dogman would do. All these beings have red eyes. Red eyes. The Mothman has red eyes. Hatman has red eyes. This rattlesnake had red eyes. I've seen a freaking well, the other things like a big giant a python or anaconda with red eyes. You know, that's a common denominator that they can use the natural elements themselves to manifest. Use it as portals. You've heard it. You heard the stories where I seen the Bigfoot run into a tree and he just disappeared because they're using the tree as a portal. Yes, anger, hatred,
Jealousy.
that they can bond you. They can have you bonded for years that way. And if you think that's strength and power, you're mistakenly wrong. It's not strength and power. It's just stopping you from your blessings. The blessings that the Heavenly Father has for you is a lot greater than being angry or being any other kind of way. The power of the blessings of the Heavenly Father can bless you with spiritual good discernment are amazing. That's all I can tell you. Izamil Productions.
Yeah, you're right, Yusu, because that's one way to get to me and press my buttons, man. I hate to just sit there and argue with somebody, man. That arguing, people lose their teeth over that.
So
I
there's
mean,
many people. There's many people. I believe the guy that squeezed my hand, wherever I don't know if Sister Madeline seen the show yesterday, where my hands all was is all bruised up, but it's silly now. I believe that guy had a negative attachment on him because, like I said before, he had superhuman strength. In order for somebody to have superhuman strength, it means that something else has control of the body or the vessel. I mean, I showed you how my hand looked, uh, but that's okay. I still maintain my love foundation, even though part of my body was being damaged. I still maintain my love foundation, in which whatever was within them had to leave. Right?
it doesn't look that swollen today, cuz.
Yeah, it's gone down some. You can see, yeah, it's gone down some. The bruising has gone down some. So if you missed that video, I think on the video yesterday, you that I did, I had done a video on YouTube for about what an hour yesterday. You'll be able to see the bruising on the how my hand was. Like I said, tune into that video. I explain everything in that video. What happened to my hand? So going back to the topic of hellhounds, cousin. Like I said, there's a lot of beings that can manifest to look like something, and they're out on a mission. You know, if there's a lot of arguing going on, the only thing that is going to attract is something from the negative side of the balance. Not unless you do something about it and you pray, so the heavenly angels come and assist you spiritually. That's the only way you can break that cycle. That's one of the reasons I really don't talk about too many people anymore in here and trying to say something about somebody anymore because I don't need that in my life. I'm already going through a lot of what I do spiritually, fighting the spiritual balance. Right, I'm not gonna spend my time trying to get through somebody that's what they do all in. You know, I'm not going to give them the power in any kind of way, shape, or form. So that's why I just focused on doing the shows now. I don't got time for that.
And if they come in here, we bless them and wish them a good day.
It's been a pretty good show, cousin. We've been going on for an hour and 20 minutes.
I got an hour and
I
10.
hope I hope I hope y'all enjoying the show. I think I might have missed some comments. I seen Sister Nevia was talking about her experiences. Sister Madeline had an experience. What I'm speaking of. I'm just right now tonight. I'm just sharing this with y'all, brothers. So I felt I seen the shirt. I had bought it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about this because I have those encounters that I had with the Hellhounds. That it is something I believe people should hear of how they have some kind of jurisdiction. If it depends on the path that the person is on.
Well, thank you, Missile Yissel. But everything that we say is it's not scripted, brother. We've lived through it. I wonder who's calling her at this hour. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, I've only had one experience with the hellhounds, but my cousin, they follow him around. I mean, I don't know why. These things just seem to know where he is.
The Hellhound, the Hat Man, the Reapers, they all follow me around. It's been like that when I was. Didn't matter what part of my life. I've been open up to all this since I was a kid. So yeah, I've witnessed them numerous times. When I talk about portals, when we talk about the Hat Man, let's talk about the Hat Man. I've seen them in shadow figure form, where I think I shared the story. I don't want to get too much of a topic, but I'll make it quick. Where well, not I won't share the story, but I want to stick to the topic of the Hellhound. Let me see. I'm gonna because I've seen it twice. The Hellhound, which was that time with what happened with my mother. The other time that I witnessed that Hellhound, this was weird because I don't know what they were truly were. My Chihuahua was barking. I went outside, and there was like fog everywhere. And this fog that was in around my mobile home, it was like from the knee down, and it was very thick fog. And I'm looking like, man, this I've never seen fog like this that looks thick like this. And I seen thick fog in Germany. So I'm looking right, and I'm like just out there in the fog, and I was like, hey sis, come check out this fog. Next thing you know, I see two big dogs come out of the fog. They're looking at me, and I'm looking at them. I'm not seeing the red eyes, but they're there like towards a house, like they're looking for somebody. So these two big dogs look at me and they start circling me, going in circles around me. And then they look at me and they're like, "Hey, what's up, doggy?" But it was no ordinary dog. My sister looked and she's like, "What the fuck?" My sister was like, Sister B was like, "What the fuck is that, Abe? Those are huge." I said, "What kind of dogs are those? I never seen big dogs like that." So I don't know. They're just like they're looking for somebody, and so you should get away from them because you don't know what they are. But my spirit was telling me that I was okay, just to stay calm and relaxed. So I stayed calm and relaxed. Well, after a while, the dogs just turned around and walked away. When the dogs walked away and left, the fog left too.
Oh wow.
So so I believe there were uh hellhounds, but they didn't have the red eyes at that time. But the fog left with them also. So imagine that. How many times have people said that that there's been fog in common with a hellhound. Wasn't there stories like at cemeteries where they said that it was fog, or maybe certain stories where people talk about the hellhounds and fog, like in London or England, where they hunt foxes and stuff like that? That they blend in within the fog, hide within the fog. That's what freaked me out because they were huge. They were like way bigger than me. Just put it that way. And I don't know what kind of breed of dog it was because I've never seen this kind of dog before. They were huge. It wasn't a Doberman. It wasn't a Saint Bernard. I don't know what kind of dogs they were, but they were massive. They kind of looked like wolves or hell. People say hellhounds. I don't know what they were. There was two of them, and it was the way they were circling me, cousin. They were just going around circles, like they were looking for somebody,
They were looking for an opening because it's what they were looking for.
to attack.
Spirit to attack you, yeah, to attack you. You were you
This
were
this dogs
you were
this dogs
prey.
wasn't pure. There wasn't pitch black. They were like a dark gray, like dark gray. I never seen this kind of dogs before. I still don't know what they were.
Well, thank you, Madeline. It was a gift. It is spiritual encrypted encounter to merch. It's a hellhound.
Uh, that time frame when those hellhounds, something did happen. Something did happen. It was a house that blew up. Their house, their electricity was of gas. Like, it was a gas. The gas line blew up and the house blew up. Which was uh a house that was on the highway, by the highway. It blew up, and I believe the mother, the father, and the children died. Uh, the
Well,
the house caved in, but the people, they died in the fire, and I believe that's why those hellhounds might have been there. But I didn't see the red eyes at that time. The only thing that I guess they replaced the red eyes with the fog. That's even creepier. Imagine that you're seeing this fog around you and it's very thick, and then out of the fog, you see the dogs, the faces of the dog come, and they're freaking huge.
wow.
I seen one first, right? As I'm looking at the one, it's like, oh shoot, that's a big dog. And then another one comes from another direction, so it was two of them.
They were hunting. Madeline's got a question for you, Primo. Do you know people who may have encountered hellhounds in combat? It seems like they'd be attracted to combat zones with all of the dead.
Yeah, I had an encounter out there with something. I don't know what it was. In When I was there in the Battle of Medina Ridge, we stood in place where we shot our last rounds. You know, they were still to stay there in the front lines where we fought, in which there was a lot of dead bodies. Uh, we're standing in place in our tank, and there's dogs that came out of nowhere. This is in the desert. There's dogs that come. I don't know. I guess it smelled the blood, the spilled blood in the ground, and it's nighttime and it's pitch dark because there's burning tanks. There's the burning oil had had the skies black. That when it got nighttime, you would have to have night vision goggles to be able to see. So you will have to put on the night vision because they're not. You couldn't be able to see your hand like this without the night vision. You couldn't see nothing. It was so pitch black, so we had to use night vision. So I'm in the location where we fought last. I was in the front line, which I did see combat, and we destroyed the Medina Republican Guard. So at nighttime, since we're the front line, that means that it's just dead bodies and the nothing but enemy in front of us, right? Burning tanks, dead bodies, and I could hear the dogs. The dogs came. I don't know where they came from, but they came from. They were eating body parts of the deceased soldiers. You could hear them just eating them at nighttime, where they're like like scavengers, just eating and eating and eating, and they're making ugly growling sounds, and it just hurting my ears because I'm hearing them. Then when the dogs start fighting for the flesh, they're eating. So we're there for about 5 days like that in the front lines still. And one thing that I heard was hearing something growling nearby where I would sleep. Even though there was dead bodies everywhere, I was up there. I was laying on my front slope trying to get a little bit of rest. Uh, and I could hear something growling real ugly right beside me. I've never. It was not a growl of a dog. It was a very strong growl. So after I heard the strong growl, I said, "Screw this! I'm slipping inside my driver's hole." So I was a driver. Then one night I said, "Okay, I'm going to find out what this thing that's growling this way. I'm going to find out what it is." So I'm laying in the front slope with all my gear on, and I hear the growling again. I get out of my sleeping bag, jump off the tank, and I'm looking to see if I could see anything. I don't got no night vision. I'm just using my spiritual senses, how we're trained. Uh, then I see it is white and it's crawling like this, like a a tiger or lion will crawl. And he looks at me. He stands up and it's running full speed at me. I look at it and I say to myself, "Well, it's on," because I was already, I was trained. So I start running towards it. It's running towards me. I'm running towards it, and it leaps and it's going for my jugular, for my throat. As it leaps and it's coming for me, and my training goes into full effect. First to nature, I freaking kick it right in the jaw. It freaking spins in the air, and I just boom, 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 boom. I could have killed it with the knife. I had my bayonets, but I used my fist. Just you could hear the dog like making this weird noise where I'm pounding the crap out of it while it's in the air, and it's like you know, real loud, and I'm focused on doing what I got to do, right? And I could hear the first sergeant yelling, "What the fuck's going on out there?" The first sergeant, "What's going on out there?" And everybody's trying to figure out what's going on and beat the crap out of that huge whatever it was. I don't know if it was a dog. I don't know what it was. All I know was color white, and he takes off running. So it reminds me of the yin and the yang. Because it was pitch black, and then that's white. So I don't know what it was. It looked like a dog. I don't know what it was. All I know is we got in a fight. The following day, they asked me what happened. I told them that the dog tried to attack me, so I fought it. So they put an ordinance since this dogs had already tasted flesh. I guess that the dogs are seeing us, the soldiers that are out there in the front lines, like food. So they put an ordinance for all the dogs that were out there to be killed. and they killed all the dogs that were out there. There was a lot of dogs. I can't count how many. You got to imagine it was war. The line was long, so it was miles and miles of animals eating human flesh out there. All those dogs got killed in combat. Yeah, we were at a ceasefire, so we wasn't with the weapons at Recon One at the time when this happened. If I would have fired a gun at killed, I had my personal weapon. If I would have fired a gun, I probably would have gotten in trouble because we were at a ceasefire, and that order had come down from the president. So the only thing I could do is take care of it physically. That's what I did. There was no ceasefire on hand-to-hand combat.
I beat up a pit bull like that. Went to deliver a truck from the shop, man, and it jumped at me, man. That dog got his ass whooped. The owner came out and I said, "I'm sorry for beating up your dog."
I could have killed the dog, whatever it was. I could have killed it. But what if that was just a manifestation of what? Because what was growling at my neck, the tank is off the ground. That's a good 5, 6 feet off the ground. Whatever was growling was standing because the growl came from on top. So there was something tall. I believe that all these things that we're speaking of were out there. When we talk about the disembodied demonic Nephilim, the Jinn, the Hat Man, Hellhounds, all those things were out there. Why? Because of war. All the deaths, all the deaths that were out there, they had authority to be out there because so many people died out there. And I believe that they were out there. I witnessed the Jinn. Let's not forget about the Jinn. I witnessed the Jinn out there in a combat environment. Yeah, regular dogs that were possessed, that they were being used in their nature. It just, I've never forgotten the sound. Like if my dogs were make that kind of sound, man, I get like, I'll tell them to stop doing that or whatever. But it's one of those sounds where the dogs are just eating and eating and eating and eating, and they're not going to stop. And if you try to go stop them from eating, they're going to try to growl at you, try to bite you because dogs don't know when to stop to when to eat. So a lot of these dogs had big old bellies out there where they of human flesh. They were fat, they were bloated. Just put it that way. That's how much food they had eating, or how much. I'm not gonna say food. How many?
You know how many people they eat?
How much flesh they're eating? It was a lot. But the gin was what I witnessed out there during the battle. The gin was hovering in the air. There was black smoke from burning tanks, and there was was in the oil field, by the oil fields that were blown up, that there was just smoke. I wouldn't stab, but the smoke that was out there and the battle Medina Ridge was from all the burning tanks. I witnessed the degen. I know it's a different topic than the Hellhounds, but it was out there also. The degen was jumping from person to person, possessing the people that had the white flags. They had the white flags for surrender. They would drop the white flag, pick up a weapon, and aim, and they would get killed. And then the other person would drop the white flag, and then when all the people that were holding white flags, all of them died because they chose to pick up a weapon and shoot. But what was happening to them was that the gen going into them. They would possess them. They would drop the flag. It would make them pick up a weapon. They would get killed, and it went from on. It went jumped to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. literally going through them, taking over their body, like in the form of a possession. Yes, it can take the shape of a black dog. It can take the shape of anything. A Bigfoot, a Dogman. The Djinn is no different than what I speak of when we talk about the DDN, disembodied demonic Nephilim. They have those abilities to manifest and look that way. And for those that are hearing you, thank you for the like button, hitting the like button. Thank you for the subscribe. Do you all subscribe? I'm trying to do this for the YouTube members, but I think we're having a pretty good show tonight here. We'll look at the numbers afterwards. If not, we'll go back to restream. But for only for tonight was I wanted to do this just to give it a shot to see the people that subscribed, see if they surface up.
You always fall asleep behind the box.
Uh, you're welcome, Sister Cynthia. We've been live for an hour and 41 minutes, cousin. I'm
That's
gonna let
it.
you have the floor for a little bit because Primo, uh, I can get a talking. I've just been holding back from from sharing a lot of things because I've been going through a lot and I've been hurting and stuff like that. But I think it's time for me to. This made it personal. What happened to my hand? So I'm back, man. That. When something happens to you, it's like okay, let's hurt his hand so he can back off and stop doing what he's doing. It's just gonna give me more animal, more what is motivation to do what I'm doing. It's not gonna stop me.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. When we're talking about this particular subject, cousin, I only have that one encounter. You have numerous encounters. I only have one. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm just laying back and listening to what you're saying because you got more information than I do. Oh,
yeah.
don't
I've seen the wickedness of these beings, man. What they're like is when people argue, where there's war, where they argue, where there's people living in sin. That's what they feed off, man. They feed off all that energy. That's what attracts them to go to these locations.
I'm sorry, beyond the box, if you may be losing your other leg. May the Lord keep that from you.
Sorry about that, beyond the box. What you're going through.
Yes,
Yes, well,
and as like I told you, cousin, this dude came by, this older gentleman, and he was wearing a veteran
yeah.
from Desert Storm,
Upper there's a storm.
and I was telling him that I got a cousin that served. He was a tanker. He goes, I was a tanker. I go, he was an Iron Knight. He goes, I've never heard of them. I said, what? I said, he
Well,
was,
Iron Knights is names that were there. You probably would understand, like maybe 19 kilo. I mean, I don't know what kind of tanker it was or how it was. He might not have been on the Abrams. He might have been on the M60s.
because he was an old
If
cat.
it was old cat, he might have been on the M60s or the Sheridan, which was before me.
And I told him he was in the Battle of Medina Range. He goes, I've never heard of that battle. I said, what? I go, he was, it was the biggest tank battle out there. He goes, what? I go, yeah. I go, he got the first kill. He goes, what? Because I never know nothing. I go, so I thought, stolen valor. That's what I thought because he didn't know nothing, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that guy. if you didn't know about the Battle of Medina Ridge, that's like if you look it up, is the biggest tank battle out there.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was a battle of tanks. That war was literally like the majority of it was uh, battle of tanks.
So yeah, like I said, man, he didn't know, and then, so I just thanked him for his service, and he left. But yeah, like back on topic, man. I never as much as Hellhounds go. I've only had that one experience, cousin, and it was a scary experience. Back then, I was a kid. I did not know how to tie, bind, and rebuke. I did not know how to pray. So I just sat in the tree and waited for it to leave. That's all I could do.
And the reason I went live today, brothers and sisters, early is because uh I got some good rest in this afternoon, but normally I don't know, I've been feeling a little bit get drowsy like around 1, 2 in the morning. So I said, let's go live early tonight. Just, whoever shows up, and hoping that we got a little bit new subscribers here tonight. That's why I went live through YouTube. But yeah, what's good about your encounter, cousin, is that you was in a certain state of mind because was in your system that maybe the hellhound was trying to warn you or like, hey, you better get your shit straight or I'm coming for you.
Yeah, it took me a long
Like
time to get it straight, but I'm
as
straight
a
now.
warning, like you better straighten up. You heard stories like where people are not to go told to go to dances and certain things like that where people will see like a goat with or a ram with red eyes looking at them and charging them, attacking them, and stuff like that. You know, which would be kind of like a form of a hellhound or a uh, the things that we speak of that have red eyes. Think your uh, Luis had a story where he got attacked by something in that nature. This black dog, remember? Well, what was the story? Do you remember the story that he shared? Do you ever listen to it?
No, I don't remember the story, man.
Where this
Mm.
that his mom had told him not to go to a dance. It was it happened in Mexico, and they disobeyed. They stayed out later than what they were supposed to. He was walking home. He said in the distance he seen like a light, and out of the light he seen this black dog coming towards him. And the dog had red eyes. The dog was looking at him. He was looking at it, and uh, he made it home. I don't know if he ran home. He didn't say he ran home or not, but he said that he was sick for about a week after that encounter.
Wow.
Which is one thing that happens also that we haven't mentioned is when you encounter this kind of things that sometimes you wind up sick, that you have to get a healer woman to heal you from what you witnessed because they have to cure you from being scared. In Spanish,
Curar de
we call
susto.
it
Curar de
curar de
susto.
susto, or so which is people call it the evil eye because what you went up against was evil. So they have to cure you from that from fear. No, I have my dogs. They're very very good dogs.
My my hell
Rebel.
my hellhound's sleeping on the back of the couch right now, man. She thinks she's a cat. Yeah, Madeline. I mean, Cynthia. It was a huge win. I know you went back and you probably googling it, but yeah, the Battle of Medina Ridge was a big
It
battle.
was honestly that was the fastest war in history that the United States has ever fought in. I believe it was the fastest war in history. It's because we were that damn good. We were highly trained. Yeah, we was the Medina Republican Guard thought that were bad till they ran into us. But the reason we won is because I believe uh, through the Heavenly Father because we prayed to assist us spiritually, and That's when how we became victorious. One of the things that happened, and other things happened also. Saudi Arabia at that time we were there had the most rain ever in history in that location during the time we were there for Operation Desert Storm. They had the most rain ever recorded in history. We prayed to the Heavenly Father. He makes things happen, and he's letting people know, "Hey, I got it." He controls Mother Nature. He's letting you know, "I'm here for you." That's when the gates of heaven open. You got water, you got lightning, thunder. He controls all that. Yeah, the ojo. They have to cure for that.
I guess that's military talk. Smear and wrap up.
No, I don't know what he's speaking about. I'm thinking about, he's talking about when you're sick, with the que te curan de ojo, to the do a certain, you know, te barran there with, there's different ways of doing it. You can do the egg thing,
You can do
they can do
the yerba
the
thing.
oil, the yerba. That's what he's talking about.
I know they weren't there to play Cynthia. They were there for the oil. That's what they were there for.
And we wasn't there for the oil, man. We were there to liberate Kuwait because Saddam Hussein had already invaded uh, Kuwait. Uh, we found when we were going to our destination. You know, there was this area where there was nothing but dead bodies, where the Air Force had dropped a bomb there, and there was nothing but dead bodies on tanks and all. It smelled very ugly. Just put it that way. They call it Death Alley.
Oh wow.
Nothing but dead bodies everywhere as we crossed that area because we were gonna go across the desert to go meet them to fight. Right. We found a mass grave site of dead women and children
Oh, that's messed up,
that
man.
they had raped and stuff like that. I guess. So when we all seen that, they gave us so we seen that we got motivated to go handle business for those people that they had killed. So that's what we want to go handle business because war is war. If you're gonna fight, handle it against
Soldiers.
men, right? Soldiers. Well, they had killed women and children. That's why a lot of people that seen that took it personal, and we were the front line, so we witnessed it first. So yeah, we took it personal that we were gonna when we met up that we are gonna handle business, and there was not gonna be no mercy for them because of what they had done. We had to do what we had to do. Our orders was uh, shoot to kill, no prisoners. That's what the orders were.
No quarter.
The one that the one that stopped that order was President Bush. He said when he said ceasefire, or else it would have been a massacre. Because when you see things like that, you think about your brothers and sisters, your 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 nieces, nephews. God didn't have a son at the time. You think about it, everybody that consists of a family, right? And then you say, man, these people are just wicked, pure evil. If they're killing women and children, that's what Saddam Hussein was known for, is killing women and children. He didn't care. So it was not about the oil. I know. I heard that they took some oil, but that's what I heard. But it wasn't that for us that were in the front lines. We were there to liberate Kuwait, and that's what we did. Liberate Kuwait. Was only there for about 6 months. We did what we had to do and they sent us back to our unit. Then they deactivated our unit. They dispersed us. They wouldn't be united, so they dispersed us. They deactivated our units, and I got sent back to the states. Yeah, we went through the front line. Went through two of their guards. I got my paperwork in the room. I think it was the Republican Guard, the Median Republican Guard were defeated. Then there was another army behind them, which was a blue Arafat or something like that. Then there was another one behind them. So we had destroyed the Medina Republican Guard, blue something. I had to Abazuya or something like that. Like there was three different because like we have waves, like the front line, second line, third line. They have went all the way through the third line, and we already had them who was on top of the ridge, and went all the way to the top of the ridge, and they were below us. We could see them from the top of the ridge, and we already had our sights on them and everything.
So you had
Easy
the high
kills.
ground. You had the high
Yeah,
ground.
we took the high ground. Then we start seeing them, and we had already destroyed some of them, and there were some that were just sitting there, and freaking. That's when they told us to cease fire, and we was able to see them leave and go cross back into the Iraqi border. Those are one of the tanks that were left. There was only a couple that was the life spared and was able to cross back to the border because we could have destroyed them all, and we could have gone all the way into Iraq and taken over Iraq if we wanted to, but that wasn't our mission. Our mission was only to liberate Kuwait. That's why a lot of people don't get it. You know, it wasn't about us going being barbarians. It was just once we liberated Kuwait, our mission was done. That was the mission, the liberation of Kuwait City or Kuwait.
I'm watching my screen light up, get dark, light up, get dark.
Yeah, the 18s. I seen the 18 in action out there.
What the warthog?
The Warhog. I seen it in action. Uh, they told us to turn on a smoke generator. Our tank had a smoke generator at the time. I don't know if they still have them or not. We turned it on, and smoke started coming, so we backed up out of the smoke. And as we go backwards and reverse, there's nothing but smoke left in front of us, right? So I'm seeing the smoke in front of us, and out of the smoke, I see what seems to be a lieutenant from their army running. He's missing an arm and blood just squirting out.
Oh
I don't
wow.
know. I don't think he made it. Uh, he knew something was going to happen. So once the smoke cleared, that's when I seen it. The warhog.
So damn it.
It came like this, downward, and then poof, just caused some damage up there.
Wow.
Did that like 2 or 3 times, man. Just blew up all kinds of stuff up in front of us. I believe it was man, there was a lot of underground obstacles. They had landmines and all kinds of stuff. Anything could have happened, but we're still here, thank God.
Hello, Cowboy 4572. Yeah, man, I played with that particular plane in a video game, man. So It was very destructive. I would have loved just to see it in person, man.
Mm. I've seen it in person, primo. A lot of damage. Like make this weird noise, real loud sound
And like,
when they drop it.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, I'm seeing the explosions where it's messing everything up.
Good night, real spelunker, spelunker. Good night, man.
They're not real.
Spelunker.
But in saying that, we done hit the 2 hour mark. Talking about hellhounds, we might have to do a part two of this. Because I didn't talk about everything in depth of how I wanted to, but I think we had a pretty good show.
It was a good show. I
But
enjoyed it. You say the best for last, man. The warthog, man. That was a good ending to the show, man. It's devastating destruction.
oh, I seen the Warhog. I seen all the weapons of mass destruction tearing up targets out there, man. I was in the front line, so I seen all that. Maybe on the day of the anniversary, I'll do a live and we can talk about the war,
Just talk war
the
stories.
Battle of Medina Ridge. The 27th, I believe it's the 27th of this month is the anniversary. Maybe on that day of the day, we'll talk about out there.
All right, cousin. I'm gonna call it.
I don't want to keep too many up too long, or I know you still got battery time or not, Primo.
I
Got a little
can't.
bit of battery power.
I can't even tell, man. I got like 39.
Yeah,
You can
but I
tell.
think this is a pretty good.
You can tell I still got pretty good battery because it hasn't started to make squealing sounds yet.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna get out while people can still hear me good, man.
all right, cousin. Well, thank you
All
for
right,
joining. God
ladies
bless
and
you,
gentlemen. Thank y'all for
and,
coming in.
and good night, Primo.
Thank y'all for coming in and spending time here. We had a good show. So, in saying that, good night, everybody. May the Lord bless y'all. Protect you while you sleep, and may your abundance of blessings be waiting for you when you wake up in the morning. Cousin, I'm out. Bye, Cynthia.
There we go, brothers and sisters. Cousin Jesse is gone. In saying that, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, and I'm going to call it a night myself. Uh, we really need to talk more in depth of the activity that happens. I believe people need to know and understand this kind of activity. It's important when in the activity of what I'm speaking of, when it's hellhounds or the Hat Man, uh, Dog Man, Bigfoot, or anything that's has a demonic presence. I believe it's very important to talk about it. But in saying that, that's it for me here from Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Everybody have a beautiful, blessed evening. Good night. God bless you. Love, light, and blessings. And till we do the show tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.